welcome to the Week in Geek, your weekly comics preview for May 2nd. I am the Chris Brown.
And I am JABBO.
All right. I'm gonna kick it off here. I've got DC and the New 52 has started their new wave, their second wave of New 52.
I saw that.
And I'm pretty excited about a couple of them here. I've got Dial H #1. I like Dial H for Hero. I really liked that book a few years ago they did called Hero,
Right?
Which was kind of a reboot, kind of an update of Dial H. This feels kind of like that series that they did a number of years ago, but it very much kind of an update. There's not a dial. It's now a phone booth that's in a random alley, which I think is interesting. You know, it was always
the last of the phone booths, right?
Pretty much. They even make comments about it. There's no more phone booths. What's the deal? And the first character we get a chance to see is Boy Chimney. Kind of a strange character design. Just some interesting stuff. You've got a character that's kind of down on his luck. He's got to help out his friend, and he gets caught in the middle of something, and when he goes to call for help, he ends up becoming this Boy Chimney. Now he's trying to figure out what's happening, and I don't know, kind of neat. You know, it's following the old scenario, but making it a little different.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I really liked that first issue. Then we've got Earth 2 #1, which is, originally they were talking about a JSA, a Justice Society book that was going to be in the second wave that James Robinson was doing. They're not doing a JSA book, it's Earth 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's all different characters, it's a different Batman, a different Superman, a different Wonder Woman, but these are all those Earth 2 characters. It's written by James Robinson. While I didn't love his Justice League run right before the New 52, I do really like James Robinson a lot. Primarily on the strength of Starman, but I'm curious to see where this is going to go and what he's going to do. These are characters that we're not entirely familiar with, so he should be able to do some fun stuff.
Now, pre-Crisis and all that, those were the Golden Age characters, right?
Yeah, but I think they're different now, and I'm a little confused. I know it wasn't Earth 2 Superboy, isn't he the one that punched the wall or something?
So.
I don't know, but this is all
Grant
new.
Morrison understands it.
This is the New 52, so I don't know what they're going to do, but it looks like it'll be good.
Sounds like it.
Then I've got Green Arrow #9. I really have only read issue 7 so far, primarily on the strength of Ann Nocenti, and everyone else that I know that's reading Green Arrow seems to hate it. They don't like the art, they don't like this, they don't like that. I've never read Green Arrow. I've never been a Green Arrow fan, so I liked the first issue that I read, that issue 7.
I thought 1 to 6 were okay. And I've not read the last couple, or 1 to 7, whatever. I've read all the ones up till before Nocenti.
Okay, that would be 1 through 6 with J.T. Kroll. And then now Nocenti's doing it. I like her. A lot of people seem to think she's not getting the Green Arrow. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I don't have anything to base it on, so I'm kind of liking it.
Right.
Then we have Animal Man #9, The Sea of Red, this one's titled. So we should be getting back to the action here with the red and the rot and all that stuff going on. It's going to cross us back and forth. Now, I am about an issue behind. I think I've missed the last issue. They took a little kind of hiatus, and I think in issue 8 they kind of got things, steamrolling again. I think Animal Man's been great. I really like Jeff Lemire's writing. A lot of people were complaining about Travel Foreman. Well, now we've got Steve Pugh. So, that artwork, it's different. I like it. I think it's a little bit more straightforward than what Travel Foreman was doing. I think it's good stuff. Then we've got Swamp Thing #9, which again, tying in, this one, the Queen of the Rot feeds. So getting kind of back to that whole rot red scenario, and they should be slamming into each other eventually. Does the Swamp Thing still have horns? He's still kind of got horns. He doesn't quite look like Sweet Tooth anymore, but that last issue, that cover, he kind of had a Sweet Tooth vibe to him, but kind of weird, kind of a weird horn crown thing. But I also think Scott Snyder's been doing a great job on this book. Scott Snyder's been doing a great job on everything he's touching at this point. Then I've got A vs. X Round 3. The first 2 issues have been a bunch of people punching each other and just that sort of thing. Are there continuity errors? Are there problems with the characters? 'Cause I've heard all kinds of people complaining. Here Hope is supposed to be the most powerful thing, but she's been left to be detained by the students at the academy. I don't know. Who's going to stop her?
Right.
And no one's going to stop her if she doesn't want to be stopped. So there's some weird things going on. I like it. It's Avengers fighting X-Men. They gave us a reason for them to fight. The Phoenix is coming. Mm-hmm. We need the Phoenix. You need the Phoenix. Let's fight.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're doing. This here, we got Wolverine is pretty charred. His skin's growing back, and I think he got blown up by the Phoenix or by Hope something, right?
Right.
When I was seeing that, it all happened so fast. Everyone was kind of taking their licks a little bit throughout the course of the story. But I think it's good so far. I mean, we're getting to a point where obviously there was that first big battle. Now teams are probably going to have to lick their wounds and come at it again. So looking forward to reading that.
Absolutely.
Then we've got Daredevil number 12. This has been a solid book all the way through. This is art by Chris Samney, who I think did some great stuff on that Thor Mighty Avenger book.
Mm-hmm.
He's just got a really great classic comic look about him and just fun stuff. It's a little cartoony, but real sharp artwork, and I really dig it. Like I've been saying, every month from, when we have a week with Daredevil, Daredevil's back. It's good again. They painted themselves in some corners, and they managed to get their way out by just kind of not really acknowledging all of it.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. Yeah, the Shadowland thing happened, but we're just moving on.
Right. Never you mind that Shadowland story.
Yep. That story wasn't any good anyway, so
Right.
I'm fine to,
No, it was not.
to never be mind. Then I've got Supreme issue 64. The previous issue 63 was the last script by Alan Moore. Now Eric Larson is the new writer on Supreme. He's doing pencils. It says Eric Larson and Corey Hampshire are the artists. There's very much a Larson vibe, but I don't think he inked himself. I think he was inked by someone else. And that's probably who this Corey Hampshire is.
I've always liked Larson's artwork.
Yeah, me too. So I'm kind of looking forward to Supreme under the direction of Eric Larson. I think he's going to do a great job. He has fun with his books. He does comic books, and he has
Right.
fun with his comic books. Savage Dragon, while I haven't read it in years, he's been doing it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the other Image guys fell off of what they were doing, or they sold their company, or they did this, or they did that. Not Larson.
Right.
He's been there cranking out Savage Dragon the whole way. Now he's doing a little Supreme, so I'm looking forward to that. Then we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 9. Splinter has been caught. He's being captured. He's captured here. Old Hob is involved. This book's been good. I really like it, and it's also been really popular. The Mirage stuff for a while towards the end of that run, nobody seemed to care. But Turtles are back, baby, and people are excited,
Right.
and it's been good. I think the artwork's pretty good and fun, and I love me some Turtles.
That you do.
Then this is sort of a weird one here. The 100th Tick issue, The Tick and Invincible. So it's like a Tick Invincible crossover. Now, admittedly, when I was in college, I loved the Tick cartoon. Loved it. And then I thought, well, I should read this comic book. I did not get it. It is not funny like the cartoon. It's weird. Very, very weird. But I like the Tick. And this just looks like this is going to be, look at that. People just getting
Yeah, that's
punched
great.
with guts and blood and teeth flying everywhere. That's kind of the sort of book that Invincible is. So I think it's interesting. And the Tick is sort of a weird book and kind of with his weird villains and things. So it seems like an interesting sort of mix. You're going to get some nice, Invincible vibe, but you're going to also get some Tick weirdness.
Yeah, it seems like a good recipe for a crossover.
Yeah, I'm excited. Now, the Invincible is off doing its own thing in its own book, and Mark is so much past where he seems to be in this. But still, just kind of a fun story. It's comics. We can go back, we can say this is at any given point in time. So,
Right.
and that gets me through most of my stack. What are you looking at there, Jabbo?
All right, we've got Action Comics here, which has been, Grant Morrison's been doing that. And I didn't read the last issue, but they've got a Brainiac story going on now, and it looks like in this one you've got all the Supermen from different Earths are coming in to kind of try and fight them. So you've got like an African-American Superman and Superman from Earth 23 coming in, and they're all converging, and one of them gets shot by this thing. It's supposed to be like a hate weapon, and it's real interesting kind of stuff. They're dealing with aliens and racism and all that kind of thing, and Luther's got his armor suit again, and so it's been a fun book.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind on that one myself.
Right. Yeah. It's I need to read issue 8. This is issue 9. I should have said. But the first 7 were really good.
Agreed. Yeah, I've read all the first 7. I'm just behind on issue 8 as well.
Batman Detective. This is the Night of the Owl storyline. This has been a really good book, and it's just been really kind of gritty. Okay. And Tony Daniel's doing the writing, and it looks like Sandu Floria's doing the artwork here, and just really kind of detailed, edgy kind of art that fits the story. It's been a real gritty Batman book, and for people that like that in their Batman, this is a good one to get, I think. Red Lanterns. I forgot the name of the character again.
Atrocitus.
We have Atrocitus in there who has seen the ends of the earth, and he's seen that the Red Lanterns are all going to be killed, and is trying to prevent that from happening.
Okay.
And it's been good stuff, and it's really cool artwork. You got like these zombie kind of looking things on the cover here, and that's Tomas Giorello doing the art and Peter Milligan doing the writing. Worth checking out. A lot of the new 52 stuff for DC's been really good, I think.
I agree. Yeah, I've certainly been digging the stuff I'm digging.
And it's done a good job of refocusing DC, I think, which I think they sorely needed pre-Final Crisis.
Agreed.
Which only Grant Morrison understands, as we've already established. G.I. Joe issue 178. This is there's a Blue Ninja factory in Braca City, and the Cobra's discovered it, and you've got Snake Eyes teaming up with the Baroness and Dr. Mindbender. Admittedly, I'm a little behind in this one, so I don't know what the deal is with Snake Eyes teaming up with Cobra people, but it seems like they're fighting together against a common enemy in this. Larry Hama's been doing it, and it's been a fun book. It's continuing his original run from the old Marvel book, and I love Larry Hama. He was one of the people that got me into comic books. Age of Apocalypse 3, Back from the Dead, and that's pretty much what this one's about. You've got Dark Beast trying to resurrect, this is in the Age of Apocalypse X-Men universe, and you've got Dark Beast trying to resurrect all of these dead mutants, and Cyclops is in there, and he's like the right-hand man of Apocalypse in this, and a depowered Jean Grey is apparently the only hope to try and stop him. So it's kind of a neat twist on all of this. And Dave Lapham, who used to do Detective.
Oh, did he used to do Detective?
I believe.
Lapham's been all over the place. I mean, he used to do a lot of Valiant stuff back in the 90s.
Okay.
He was working with them, and then he went off and he was doing Stray Bullets. And he does a lot of that gritty crime stuff.
Right, I'm pretty sure it was Detective. It was one of the Bat books, and I remember liking that, and he's a good writer. And this has been good so far. Iron Man, issue 516. This is part 1 of Long Way Down. You have Tony Stark had started drinking again, and now he's trying to sober up. The drinking came about in the Siege storyline, I believe.
Because he had to sacrifice himself, right, to bring Odin.
Yeah, he was working because he needed Odin's army to help build him weapons or something.
Right.
And so, that's what that was all about. And now you've got Justine Hammer and her people have manipulated the government into thinking that Tony Stark is this loose cannon. And they have this thing on him now where they're kind of monitoring Iron Man and can, it's either he's Iron Man and there's Big Brother watching him, or they shut him off. It's that kind of thing. So it's kind of an interesting twist on it. Kind of an odd cover on this one, but the artwork's been okay in Iron Man so far. It's if you like Salvador Larroca, it's been a little bit cartoony, but it's been a good book, I think. Matt Fraction's been writing it, and
he's been on that for a while.
Yeah. And he's really established the characters. He's got a good feel on Tony Stark and good feel on Pepper Potts and the main characters that you need in here.
Okay.
Avengers Academy 29. That was they've got Pixie that's in here, and you have some of. Is it this one? No, that's the wrong book. I'm sorry. This is they've moved the Academy out to the West Coast where the West Coast Avengers were, and. X-23 is now on the team, and then there's issues over what to do with Hope from the whole Avengers versus X-Men thing, and so that's what's coming, and they're worried about there being a war here, with the students and whatnot. Venom, I'm a little bit behind on, but this is the intro of the Savage 6 storyline, and this has been pretty good. Overall, I mean, I haven't read this one yet, but it's Flash Thompson as Venom. And he's like a military soldier of fortune kind of thing. And he had lost the use of his legs when he was in the war. It was a Desert Storm.
Yeah.
And, this Venom thing, when he has the symbiote with him, he's obviously able to be mobile again. And they're using his military expertise
I think
for
they
that.
said it was the most recent Iraq excursion, wasn't it?
I think so. They keep updating it. It used to be, Vietnam a long time ago, and, it's... They have to do that. They change it at the times.
That's what they've done with the Punisher, certainly.
Right. Well, and Iron Man, too. Wasn't he originally...
Yep.
He was Korea, I think, when it started, and now he's Afghanistan, I think.
Yeah.
So, otherwise these characters would all be 100 years old. So, been a pretty good book. It's surprising, because I didn't know what to expect with this, with Flash Thompson being a lead character and something, but they've done a, kind of a unique twist on it. And they have 24 years of Venom emblem on the cover here, which is hard to believe he's been around that long. X Factor 235, Peter David, another guy that's been on a book for ages, and this book has been consistently good.
Agreed.
And you had Jamie Madrox was presumed dead, and you've got Havoc and Polaris that are back now, and they've been running the team, and now Madrox is back, and there's some tension between the two of them, you know, as far as leadership and that kind of thing goes.
Okay.
And you've got Leonard Kirk doing the art on this one. It's a little bit cartoony, but the stories have been
good though.
Yeah. It's I've enjoyed it, and the stories have been so good in here that, you know, it's almost wouldn't even matter if the art wasn't good, but it is good. It seems to fit, and worth checking out, definitely. Then X-Men 28. That was that's the one that had Pixie in it, and it's dealing with having kind of the older X-Men characters take her under her wing, or their wing rather, and you know, just make her a better X-Men, for lack of a better word.
Right.
It's Victor Gischler that's writing it, Will Conrad doing the art, and
Gischler's been doing a good job.
Yeah, it's been a good book, and you know, it takes a little bit of a different angle than the other X-Men books, which is kind of nice. It's, you know, not all just the same kind of Wolverine this and Wolverine that. You know, they're, you know, trying something different here, which I think is cool. And that's pretty much the end of my books.
All right, which I guess brings me to the top of my stack here. Top of my stack, I've got, speaking, we mentioned ever so briefly with Lapham formerly working on the Valiant stuff. The Valiant's back. The relaunch starts this week. We've got X-O Manowar #1, written by Robert Venditti and drawn by Kerry Nord. I think that's right. It's good. I've already read this issue and I liked it. It's got a... now, Kerry Nord was doing all the art on the early Conan issues for Dark Horse that I believe... who was writing that? Was that Mark Waid? I think that was Mark Waid writing those. And Nord did a great job. Well, we've got a very similar vibe here, I'm feeling. You know, it's... The Romans are fighting the Visigoths, and Eric, you know, our main character here he's a hothead, as he always was, you know, in the old book too. And he ends up, of course, getting into, they go to make an attack and put their attackers on the defensive, and they see a big ship, and like, well, I don't know what that warship looks like, but that's got to be the Romans, and we're going to go in there and do what we can. And that's when he pretty much ends up getting taken by, presumably, the spider aliens. You know, they don't call them spider aliens at this point, but that's what they were in the original series. They were spider aliens.
Right.
And you know, we get a little taste of the Man-O-War suit, and they're going to take their time. I mean, we are very much in an era of deconstruction. You know, it's not deconstructionist. What is that? When they take their time now, what are they calling that?
Well, I think that is a deconstruction.
Isn't it?
Like the whole thing with Bendis, where he can have an entire issue be a 2-minute conversation.
And that's kind of what this is. Like this, they're going to take their time. Decompressed. I think that's what they're calling it. Decompressed storytelling. So this very much has that vibe, and nothing is necessarily resolved at all. I mean, there's going to be a battle, and we're going to get to it, but you know, there's still some stuff to go here. Right now, Eric's just captured, and let's see what happens. No, I haven't spoiled anything. You still got to find out what kind of a person he is, and it's not that different from what it was the first time around. Right. So, you know, they're just taking their time with it.
Now, is Valiant its own company now, or does somebody just own the name and is putting it out?
Yes.
Okay.
Someone owns the name and is putting it out as its own company now.
Okay. So it's not like, you know, Image or something owns Valiant.
No, and I don't know that we're going to get any Magnus or Turok or Solar. I don't think they're going to be in this universe because Jim Shooter was writing them over at Dark Horse.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what the Dark Horse probably has that license.
So he kind of took those characters with him.
Pretty much. Well, you know, he probably had some more ideas and things to do, and
right.
You know, Dark Horse got that license, and not that they've been doing anything with it. I mean, the book never comes out.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't help.
So what do you got?
I've got Amazing Spider-Man 685, Ends of the Earth. And this has been a consistently great book since Dan Slott took over it. You know, I didn't necessarily agree when they started the whole thing about the whole deal with the devil or whatever, but, you know, how they got to where they are, but I love what's been going on. And in this story, you have Dr. Octopus, who's been dying for some time. You know, they've been prolonging that. Has this thing where he can either blow up the ozone layer or he can save the ozone layer, and you know, he's essentially using it to blackmail everyone, and he wants $2 billion for every one of the members of the Sinister Six. So he's you know, trying to extort the government for money for him, and it's, you know, it had a very Silver Age feel, you know, throughout the writing. Not so much the art in this one, because this is Humberto Ramos, who's very stylized. But a lot of the stuff, the artwork seems to be matching the story, which is very Silver Age feel, you know, not only in the writing, but in the art. And this has been a consistently great book for, what, 2 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And Dan Slott is doing a great job, and hopefully he'll stay on the book for a while.
Right, I agree. And with that, that is your Week in Geek.